Hello everyone. It's a lot, isn't it? Oh my God, there's like 170 bits of legislation for landlords that they have to think about. That's before Renters' Rights Bill. So I'm here today to talk to you about rent protection and the Renters' Rights Bill. I'm Maria from Goodlord. We are a supplier of Baker and Chase. I love working with them. It's been really great to meet some of their landlords as well today. The relationship they've got with you guys is fantastic. My job at Goodlord is to help agents understand our product better and sell it to their landlords so that landlords are the end user of our rent protection. Now, I'm going to take you through a few bits. Some of my slides have been the information's been covered, so if I'm skipping through, that's why. Don't want to double up on anything. But just to give you a bit of a background around Goodlord, we are a compliance and referencing supplier. So what we do is the tenancy agreements, the referencing, holding deposits, you upload your EPCs, your EICRs, and Baker and Chase, as a letting agent and as your agent, have made that decision to use us to protect you, because there's lots of legislation, as Rosanna's just been through, David's touched on as well. There's a lot of potholes and things that you might be exposed to that you weren't even aware of. So by choosing Goodlord, they've made that decision to make sure that they're taking all of that away from you. We asked about 3,000 people, and this was September, so I wonder if it would be any different now. What do you think that the Renters' Rights Bill is going to do to the supply of the housing market in the UK? Or in England, I should say. 66% of people, and that was landlords and agents that came back to us on this, said there was going to be less supply of housing. The whole idea around the Renters' Rights Bill is to give tenants more choice. It's to back tenants and give them those opportunities to have different properties and not be gazumped on rent. Well, if it's going to mean that landlords might choose to sell, it's having the opposite effect. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because that isn't the thing that you need to do. Being a landlord is tough. There's lots of things that you have to think about. But if you choose the right agent and you have the right protection in place, it can be great yield for you. And it's as I think David mentioned, there's things to pass on to your family to keep those properties for you. It's really important. So I'm just here today to talk to you about a solution, really. Jeff talked about the rise on rents and the fact that rents are outpacing income that tenants are earning. When we surveyed, at the same time, we surveyed tenants, and we said, how much of your income are you spending on rent at the moment? Nearly half of them said they were spending 40% of their income on rent. That's 40% immediately gone before any other bills, anything else, any credit they owe, anything taken into consideration. If we're going to see an increase in the market, it is possible that people are going to get themselves into situations where, through no fault of their own, they might not be able to afford the rent anymore. Or, Donald Trump's put some tariffs on. It's affected the fact that manufacturers, people who've been made redundant, they're not bad tenants. They are not bad people. You put good people into your properties, they're a victim of circumstance, and they're not able to afford that rent anymore. So I'm going to go on to our rent protection product now. I've been working with this product for 13 years. So if you have got any questions around how it works or anything that you're not sure, and hopefully I can get them answered in the Q&A session. I've spoken to a gentleman today who's actually got some of our products as well. And I'm going to take you through what that looks like. The product is taken by Baker and Chase. They take that product from us and they're the insured party. They then sell that as a service to you. So they're giving you that service as part of what you're able to choose at Baker and Chase. If a tenant falls into arrears, we will pay 100% of arrears until vacant possession is obtained. Now, Rosanna mentioned that in some areas you're looking at 13 months. If you've got a rent of £1,200, which is about the average, talking like £1,320 before we're even getting close. We pay that to Baker and Chase. They will then pass that on to you. I'm going to come on to the vacant possession payment in a second, but the product is nil excess. So that doesn't mean that you lose out on any rent. We pay rent from the first point of arrears onwards. And we also offer £100,000 worth of legal expenses. Now, the legal expenses includes serving the Section 8, arranging the legal advocate, the court cost, the bailiff. It's a full start to finish eviction process that you're going to need should that tenant refuse to leave. And if we think about all the changes that are coming, the increase from 2 months to 3 months on the Renters' Rights Bill, the fact that you can only serve a notice if you are intending to sell or move back into the property. If those tenants don't leave, it's longer and longer and longer that it's going to take to get them out of your property if you want it back. You have an option here. We're going to pay until vacant possession. So it doesn't matter how long it takes, we will pay that whole time. You can evict tenants for non-rent arrears related things, so it's quite good for me going after Rosanna, actually. Great planning, guys, just all tie it all in. But things like subletting, illegal activity, and at the minute, failure to vacate after a Section 21, you can use our product to evict those tenants, even if they're paying the rent on time. Once we've got the tenant out of the property, we also offer up to 6 weeks at 90% of the rent following vacant possession. So that means that whilst you're getting that property sorted, you're reletting through Baker and Chase, that's key, that has to be the case. And getting a new tenant for that property, which maybe guys, I don't know, what, 2 weeks maybe to find a new tenant for a property? Maybe a bit quicker. So you've got time to get it in a good state of repair, and then you've got 90% for that whole time, for up to 6 weeks. We also offer up to £250 on top of the deposit amount towards property damages. So say you've got a deposit of £1,500, but there is £1,750 worth of damage, we're going to top that up for you, so it goes towards those damage costs. Because unfortunately, there is a correlation between tenants going into arrears, not moving out, and the properties being in a really bad way. They're not putting the hoover over while the bailiff is outside, usually. Now, that's our product as of today. But at Goodlord, we have tried to be thought leaders around the Renters' Rights Bill. We have done lots of webinars, we've done lots of materials for our letting agents to use. We've come to events like today. And so what we wanted to do is change this product to fit the Renters' Rights Bill, to look at the different changes that are coming. And so as of the 1st of June, 100% of rent until vacant possession is staying. It's still nil excess. You get your 6 weeks at 90%, and it's £100,000 worth of legals. That's all staying the same. What we're improving is the property damage cover that I've just talked about, that's £250, is increasing to £1,000 on top of your deposit amount. So that means that you've got another £1,000 if you have this service through Baker and Chase, got another £1,000 if that property's in a really bad way when you're evicting that tenant. A couple of extra things that I haven't touched on so far is we also pay at the minute for 30 days of alternative accommodation and storage for a landlord. So if you are returning from abroad or you're trying to move back into that property and that tenant's not vacating, you can claim under the product to have some of those costs covered. As of the 1st of June, that's increasing to 90 days because we think it's going to take longer to get tenants out of a property. So we're going to give you 90 days worth of that cover. And we've got 2 new features. David touched on the fact that you cannot take the first month's rent from tenants until they've signed the tenancy agreement. And they've got a signed tenancy agreement then, they're within the rights to get the keys from you. Should it happen that they get the keys and manage to get in the property and you haven't had that first month's rent, we will pay that within 5 working days to Baker and Chase. So you're going to get that under the product as long as you have this service. And then also on them, now you're going to, some people do a Section 13 at the minute, but not everyone does that for a rent increase. So you'd serve the Section 13, you would tell them that you were going to be putting the rent up. Be putting the rent up. Tenants now can take you to first tribunal and say, I don't think that's fair. It's not within the lines of the market. I'm not happy to pay it. If that's the case, we're going to cover the difference whilst it's ongoing. So we've tried to change the product and help people be ready for the Renters' Rights Bill. There is a lot to take in, and I think it's great that Baker and Chase have put this event on today to make sure everyone feels educated. I agree with David. If you're here, you're usually one of the sensible ones. You might have a bit of a handle on things already. But I just wanted to say there is an option for you if you're feeling nervous. And all of our payments are handled in-house at Goodlord. We use a solicitor called Dean Wilson, who've been fantastic. Their turnaround times are brilliant. And more importantly, because you get the service through Baker and Chase and they're a customer of Goodlord, if there is a problem or you're not sure about anything, they have a direct line into our insurance team. We can help them resolve anything that you need. Thank you so much for listening. It was hard act to follow with all that great information from Rosanna and David, but hopefully we'll pass on some questions. If you need anything, let me know.